We'll get started in about 2 minutes. I'll start the show again just for a couple more minutes.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Calvert County Commission for Women and our 6 community organization partners, we are very happy to welcome you to this 20th annual Women of the World Recognition Award and Celebration. My name is Joan Dow Winship, and I have the privilege of serving as chair of the Commission for Women, as well as chair of this year's WOW. The Commission for Women was established in 1976 by the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners. Among the goals and mission of the Commission for Women is to recognize the achievements and accomplishments of women and girls of Calvert County. The Commission began presenting its annual Outstanding Achievement Award shortly after it was established. But Women of the World, affectionately known as WOW, came into being initially in 2002 with an event that the League of Women Voters held. And then the next year, the League and the Commission joined together to create WOW. Since 2020, the Commission has been led and organized by, has organized WOW. WOW, however, is a collaboration. We want to thank and acknowledge all our partners. There are 6 of them who do amazing work themselves in Calvert County. These 6 are the Calvert County Historical Society, the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance, the Community Mediation Center of Calvert, Concerned Black Women of Calvert County, and the League of Women Voters of Calvert County. This year, we're very proud to add the Calvert Library, not only as our technical partner, but as a full participating partner organization. Though WOW started in 2002, and it is now 2023, we had to skip a year because of COVID and the COVID pandemic. Thus, this is actually the 20th year WOW has been celebrated. As with our last 2 years, this year will be a hybrid of live and pre-recorded events. All participants have been sent a link to our 20-page program, which we hope you will read and use throughout. In it, you'll find an outline of the program, the history of WOW, photos and descriptions of our keynote speaker and of each of our wonderful honorees, a list of our terrific organizing committee made up of representatives of our partner organization, and our thanks to all of those who worked behind the scenes to make WOW happen this year too. We hope you will refer to it as we move throughout the morning. I would like now to introduce Reverend Barbara Buchanan. Reverend Barbara has served on the WOW committee representing the Minority Business Alliance. She is also one of the honorees today, so you'll hear more about her as we present the awards. So let me now turn to Reverend Barbara Buchanan for some words of inspiration.
From the beginning of time, it was a woman who dared to change the status quo, which changed the course of time and her destiny. And so it is still that women continue to challenge and defy the odds, changing history. From biblical women like Hadassah, better known as Queen Esther, to Harriet Tubman, both hailed as saviors of a people in bondage, to Hollywood heavy hitters like Hedy Lamarr, not only a great actress, but a skilled and prolific inventor, dubbed the mother of Wi-Fi, to hometown heroes, moms, daughters, and wives like you and me. We are the recipients of the dedication of Dr. Madame Curie, the defiance of Rosa Parks, women who dared to alter the course of medical and social history. We are the beneficiaries of Barbara Walters and Oprah Winfrey, who opened wide the doors of mass media, proving that women can thrive in a field once dominated by men, where women's voices can start a dialogue that circles the entire earth. And here we are, women of the world, diverse, strong, confident, resolute, resilient. We are mountain movers. Good morning. I am Reverend Barbara Buchanan. on this 20th annual Women of the World celebration. I am honored to be among you as we gather to celebrate once again not only a group of phenomenal awardees, but all of you who work tirelessly to bring this event to fruition. Thank you for your toil, for your sacrifice, your dedication, and determination. To the 2023 awardees, you are indeed daring, dashing, dazzling, delightful, but most of all, you are deserving. Congratulations. And to our guest speaker, Calvert County's own Rosamond Plater, welcome and thank you. And so it is from the beginning until now, the defiance of women and the rise of women is not about the fall of man, but the uplifting of mankind. So I urge all of you to continue to be great, continue to break barriers and glass ceilings, challenge the status quo, and defy the odds. Continue to inspire and be not only a light, but a glowing ember, a conduit of heaven's radiance, bringing light to a sometimes very cold world. Happy Women's Month. Blessings to all of you. Now go change the world.
Thank you, Reverend Barbara, for those words of wisdom, inspiration. We are privileged today to receive welcomes and congratulations to our honorees and to all of us at this morning's Women of the World celebration from our two U.S. senators from Maryland, Senator Benjamin L. Cardin and Senator Christopher Van Hollen. Senator Ben Cardin was elected to the Maryland House of Delegates from 1967 to 1986, where he served as Speaker of the House of Representatives from 1979 to 86. He was then elected U.S. Representative for Maryland's 3rd Congressional District from 1987 to 2006, when he was elected to the U.S. Senate, where he has served ever since. Senator Chris Van Hollen served in the Maryland House of Delegates from 1991 to 1995, and then the Maryland State Senate from 1995 to 2003. He was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives representing the 8th Congressional District of Maryland from 2003 to 2017, when he was elected to serve in the U.S. Senate, where he continues to serve. Our thanks especially to both of them and their staffs for their participation in our Women of the World program. And we want to welcome them and hear from them each now.
Hello, Calvert County Commission for Women. I'm Ben Cardin, your senior senator from Maryland. I am so proud to join you today to celebrate 20 years of WOW. Let me start by congratulating the incredible group of women who are being honored with the Women of the World Awards. You are joining an elite group of trailblazers in Calvert County and our state. I won't pretend to understand all the unique challenges you've had to face in order to get here. I have a daughter and 2 granddaughters, so I know there is still work to be done on issues that particularly impact women, like the wage gap, reproductive health care, and family leave. Thanks to women like you, we are making progress every day. In 2021, a survey found that 49% of new businesses were started by women, which was up from 21% in 2019. That's excellent news, and we anticipate that these numbers will continue to increase. I would like to thank some of my work as chair of the Senate Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee helped this along, like increasing from 1 women's business development center in Maryland to now 4. Much of the success of women-owned small businesses come down to the grit and determination of women in Maryland and nationwide, and their willingness to take the risks necessary to write their own future. Also, furthering the ability of women to determine their own future, in this Congress, I have continued my effort to remove the deadline for the ratification and affirm the Equal Rights Amendment as having met all the requirements for becoming a legal part of the Constitution. In fact, I recently testified before the first Senate hearing on the ERA since 1984. There should be no time limit on equality. Without constitutional protections, efforts at equality based on sex are incomplete. The Senate also recently confirmed a record number of women federal judges, and we plan to keep up this momentum. March is Women's History Month, when the nation reflects on and honors and celebrates all the women who have shaped our country and made life better for us all. 1 month is not enough to explore all the rich accomplishments women have contributed to our world. Too often, these achievements are under-recognized, and I am so proud that we are gathering today to recognize your dedicated work. The next generation is watching, and thanks to women like you, there are growing an abundance of success stories to look for the inspiration and counsel. I look forward to seeing what you accomplish next. Thank you. Keep up the wow. I am proud to represent you in the United States Senate.
Hi, I'm Chris Van Hollen, and I'm proud to represent our great state of Maryland in the United States Senate. And I'm especially pleased to be once again joining the Calvert County Commission for Women and your partners, this time to celebrate the special 20th anniversary of the Women of the World event. For 2 decades now, Women of the World has celebrated the contributions of women and girls in Calvert County. I commend the Commission for Women for organizing this event each year and for highlighting the achievements of inspiring women who have made a big, positive difference in our communities through their service, their advocacy, their business leadership, and more. Today we come together to salute this year's honorees. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for your service to Calvert County and to the state of Maryland. This is also a time to celebrate all of the trailblazing women who have moved our state, our country, and our world forward and made great strides in every area of endeavor, from business to education to public service to advocacy, and so much more. These contributions are especially front of mind now as we observe Women's History Month. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you to advance the cause of women's rights in our state, our country, and around the globe. I promise to always be your partner in that mission. Let me end where I began, by applauding the entire Calvert County Commission for Women for reaching this 20th anniversary milestone, and congratulations again to all of today's winners.
That was special, and we thank both of our senators for their kind words. As I turn to the vice chair of the Commission for Women, I might ask you all to turn your camera on for just a few minutes so that you can see each other and see who all is here and attending today. And as I do that, I would like to introduce Catherine Marsh.
Thank you and welcome everyone. We are honored to have so many distinguished guests and elected officials with us today. So for everybody who has their camera on, if you are one of our elected officials and distinguished guests from state senators, our appellate bench, and our local offices, if you would please wave at this point in time. And if you would continue waving so everybody can scroll. We have over 100 attendees on with us at the moment, so it may take a little bit for everyone to scroll. Thank you. We are also honored to have so many of our past awardees here with us today as well. So at this time, for anybody who has been a past awardee recipient from WOW, if you would please wave. Thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Catherine. It's great to see all the faces and to have everyone know that we have so many different people here with us this morning. Let me introduce to you now the program as we celebrate our 20 years of WOW. And we look back over the last 20 years, we acknowledge and celebrate the progress women have made in so many different ways. Nowadays, most of us just accept the fact that we have so many women doctors now in Calvert County. We see women speaking as policymakers and leaders and analysts on TV in all sorts of fields. This week, as the news media especially was focusing on International Women's Day on March 8th, we saw feature stories about the first Black woman named commanding officer of Naval Station Norfolk, the largest naval base in the world. We know that there are more women attending graduate school and undergraduate school in colleges and universities across the country than there are men these days. We see women refereeing professional sports games on TV. We hear and just heard that women make up the majority of new small business entrepreneurs. You name the field, women have made progress in so many ways. Yet we know that according to the Pew Research Center, a well-known research center, in 2022, women also still made 82% of what men earned in median hourly earnings of both full and part-time workers. This is very similar, actually, to where we were 20 years ago, when women earned 80% as much as men. And if you break those numbers down, the gap is even wider for Black women and even wider for Hispanic women. And since our event is called Women of the World, we must recognize many women around the world face challenges like they have never faced before, whether war, conflict, food and energy crises, and the ever-present violence against women in all its forms that does exist in all places around the world, including Calvert County. We read about girls' schools in Iran the last couple of weeks being closed because of toxic chemical and poisoning attacks. And even worse, girls in Afghanistan not even being allowed to go to school for secondary and higher education, much less women even work or volunteer outside the walls of their home. Yet, at the same time, countries around the world have also had women serve and still serve as prime ministers and in the highest offices of their countries, their corporations, and their organizations. So we want to be celebratory today. We want to be positive and appreciate the achievements and contributions of women. While we do that, let us also remember those women who do not have the opportunities we have in Calvert County. Let us do our part to contribute to the well-being of all women, using our talents, our skills, our interests, whether locally here or farther afield, whether in the public sphere or quietly where so many do it behind the scenes. Our keynote speaker today will share with us her thoughts on how women have helped mentor others and as well challenge us to do what we can, where we can, and when we can. I am very delighted to welcome Calvert's own Emmy Award-winning TV journalist, Roz Plater, as our keynote speaker this morning. For more than 2 decades, Roz has won numerous awards for her work as a TV journalist and anchor. Many of you may remember her as a lead reporter, first at Fox 5 and then ABC 7 in Washington, D.C. In 2014, she was named one of 12 Southern Maryland Women of Influence as part of Women's History Month and an exhibit at the College of Southern Maryland. After she moved to the San Francisco Bay Area, she worked at both CBS and NBC. So she's really covered all the regular networks there, if you put all her work together. More recently, she has worked as a documentary producer and adjunct professor in broadcast journalism, and she writes for an online health website. There's much more you can read about Roz in your program, including information about her family who have lived here and who many of you already know. Some live in Calvert County, some are other places around Maryland, among her brothers and sisters. You will learn more about her own life journey in her remarks to us today. So let us hear directly from her now about that journey and her thoughts, how they can challenge us and inspire us today. Welcome, Roz.
Good morning. I am thrilled to be with you on this day as we honor Calvert County women who are making a difference. So yay for the home team. You know, this month as we celebrate our history as women, let's acknowledge that we've made lots of progress. We now have a woman as vice president. She's Black and Asian. In Los Angeles, where I live, we just elected the first Black woman as mayor. So we're making great strides, but there's certainly lots more challenges ahead. So how do we move the ball down the court, as they say in sports? What are the issues we still face? And what can we do as individuals to make a difference? I decided to put those questions to my 3 oldest nieces, smart young women who are just starting their own careers. I wasn't sure what answers I'd get, but turns out they had a lot to say, a lot. They talked about the wage gap between men and women. They talked about how it's still tough to be assertive. One of them said women are always too much or not enough in what is still largely a man's world. But the one point they all agreed on was this. They have often been disappointed when they discover that sometimes women don't support or empower other women in the workplace. And that's something they think is a critical part of achieving success. That started me thinking about some of the people who've helped me in my journalism career, people for whom I am eternally grateful. They opened doors for me, and this was after some of them literally had to break down doors for themselves. Now, not all of them were women, a lot of them were, but what they had in common was this. They went above and beyond to help me, often without me even asking for their help. One of my first mentors was a recruiter from CBS News I met while I was in grad school at the University of Missouri. He looked at my work and he said, "You're doing pretty good. You've even won some awards, but here's the thing you don't understand about our business. You need more than that. You need somebody who is going to go to bat for you, who's going to take that extra step." I didn't understand what he was talking about at the time, but it turns out that advice was spot on. My first on-air job as a reporter and anchor was in Monterey, California, about 2 hours south of San Francisco. It turns out that was a pretty good move because I was close enough to San Francisco to get noticed by news hiring managers. 6 months after that first job, I got hired in San Jose. A year later, I was hired in San Francisco, the 5th largest market in the country. I had less than 2 years of experience, so getting hired in that large market with so little experience was something that rarely happened, so I knew I would have to hold my own. What did I do? I just let that good old Calvert County work ethic kick in. You know how we were raised. If they ask you for 100%, you give them 150. If the veteran reporters made 10 phone calls, I made 20. If they knocked on 5 doors, I knocked on 15. That hard work got me interviews nobody else got. I took on assignments nobody else wanted, like the energy crisis, and I made sure to make those stories sing. One day, the only female manager we had in the newsroom came up to me and said, "Thanks for all the good work you've been doing for us. I want to help you get where you want to go. Now, if you could pick a specialty in this business, what would it be?" Wow, I was floored, but I had an answer. I told her I'd like to cover politics, at least try my hand at it. It was an assignment usually given to men, none of whom looked like me. She said, "Okay, I'll look for an opportunity for you." Now that was the summer of 2000. Okay, you can stop calculating in your head. Yes, I'm old, I admit to that. The Democratic National Convention was coming up in Los Angeles, and protest groups from around the country were already converging on the city. It was expected to be crazy. My station was already sending our veteran political reporter to cover things from the inside, but they decided to send a second reporter to cover the protest on the outside. And that executive producer suggested they send me. She told them, she's excelled at everything we've given her. She works hard. Let's give her a shot. And they did. I was stunned, but I was determined I was not going to let them down. So my photographer and I worked 18-hour days. We covered the protests from early in the morning all through the day, and then put together 2 different stories, one for the 5 p.m. newscast, a second for the 6 p.m. newscast. Then we would grab all of our gear, climb a 3-story scaffolding so we could go live. We had to be up high enough so viewers could see the Staples Center in the background. And no, there is nothing glamorous about TV news. Then we would gather up the gear, head back down to cover the protests at night. And those protests often turned violent. We were out there in the midst of it all. I got tear gassed, hit by a rubber bullet, chased by LAPD officers on horseback. Still, we had to then gather up our interviews and all the video that we shot and take that, put together another story, climb back up the scaffolding to do the 11 o'clock news. It was probably the hardest assignment I've ever had, but it's an experience I would never trade because I had a front row seat to history, which is what I love about my profession. You know, years later, I learned a story about a little-known Chicago politician who had come to that same convention hoping to make some connections to further his career, but he couldn't even get credentials to get in. 4 years later, he got an opportunity to be the keynote speaker at the 2004 Democratic Convention. It changed Barack Obama's life and the course of history. Now, there's no comparison in my case, but my opportunity to cover that 2000 convention altered my career. It moved me into the ranks of the go-to reporters, the ones they called on when there was a big story. And in California, that meant things like earthquakes and wildfires, the Michael Jackson trial, the inauguration of Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, the first same-sex marriages. I got to cover them all. Now, yes, I had prepared myself for the big stories. Yes, I worked hard, but what I needed was an opportunity. And that opportunity came because another woman was willing to go to bat on my behalf. And the truth is, I've had people like that off and on throughout my whole career. And that's true of my current job, teaching journalism at San Jose State University. The professor I replaced was a fellow reporter I had worked with in the Bay Area. She transitioned into teaching and started at a community college and began to work her way up. I was fascinated with her progress because I'd always thought about teaching, and it was one of the reasons I got a master's degree more than 30 years ago, so I'd be ready when the opportunity came. She and I kept in touch. When I worked in D.C., she called me and said, look, there's a journalism educators conference. You should come to it. I did. When I moved back to California a few years ago, she invited me to be a guest lecturer in her journalism classes. And when the pandemic started, she sent me a Zoom link and suggested I sit in on her classes to see how it's all done. Then she got an opportunity to teach abroad in Italy. Who wouldn't want to take that job? She went, and that left an opening at the university. She went to bat for me at the university, and they hired me. And that is how you change somebody's life and their career. And now it's my turn to pay it forward. You know, I'd always mentored dozens of interns in the newsroom I've worked in. Some of them have done better than me. One is a correspondent for the Today Show. Another is an anchor for the Fox Business Channel. Another is a news manager in Denver. That's a top 20 television news market. But now I have an opportunity to do more. At San Jose State, I'm helping to train the next generation of TV reporters and anchors and producers and photographers and editors. In fact, the majority of the students this semester in my class are young women, and many of them want to pursue a path in news that's non-traditional, like sports or news management. These are things I never considered when I started more than 2 decades ago. So now I'm trying to do for my students what others have done for me. I'm taking that extra step and going to bat for them. I'm not just teaching them skills and theories and ethics. I'm trying to get them on the right job path while they're still in school. So I make cold calls to news directors I find on LinkedIn. I recommend students to people who can give them an opportunity later in their career. I help them get started in the right direction. I bring news directors in via Zoom to meet those students, to talk about what life is like on the other side, and potentially to meet and greet new hires. And it's working. I've got students in paid internships and part-time jobs right now, even before they get out of school. And I got a really nice thank you email at the end of last semester. One of my students is a single Latina mom. She was graduating and she was starting a full-time job on the air in Spanish language news. That's something she had wanted to do for years. And she said to me, "This helped change my life and that of her child." You know, we are thankfully at the end of this horrible pandemic. It has affected all of us in ways we can't wrap our heads around. We are stressed. Some of us are facing mental health challenges. Lives and careers have been turned upside down. That's why I think it is even more critical now that if we can, we look for ways to help each other. Reach out to that young woman just starting her career, see how you can help her. Or reach out to that mid-career woman to see how you can help her make her way onto a new path. Or maybe a woman who's decided, you know what, retirement is not for me, and she wants to get back into the grind. If there's anything I hope you take away from what I'm saying today, it's that if you can, do more than be a role model or give good advice. Help change another woman's life, and I promise you, it will change yours. And you know what? I never worry that maybe a younger woman is going to take my job. I mean, someday they will. That's the point, right? I stand tall on the shoulders of women who've come before me, and those who come after me will stand on my shoulders. And you know what? Here's what I believe. Nobody can block the blessings God has in store for me. So be that blessing to another woman. Do more than just be a role model or an advisor or give advice. Reach out. Be a sponsor. Go to bat for them. As Nike says, just do it. My nieces will thank you, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Roz. Your challenge is for us to mentor each other, to help and support other women and girls, not only the young, but those mid-career and in all stages of life, will resonate, I think, in our minds, not just this morning, but in days to come. We're so happy that you could join us from California, and that's the wonders of Zoom these days. And remember, for all of you, that after we finish the presentations, Roz, in fact, will be in a chat room, and you can visit with her live and talk with her and thank her again for coming back to Calvert County this morning for all of us. What we're going to do now is take a short break, about 5 minutes, while we're entertained again by our musician, Ashlyn Vilcek, who, if you noticed on the screen, is a ninth grader from Northern High School. We appreciate her sharing her musical talents with us, both on flute and violin. And we want to always highlight, again, women of all ages, those who have talents no matter what their age. So we thank Ashlyn for being with us. You'll also have a chance to test your knowledge again on more facts in women's history by watching the quiz. And I want to give credit to Sherry Tardio, who is was on the WOW committee, and she is executive director of the Community Mediation Center. She's the one who put that together, and she's got great examples of women throughout the centuries of who we might know and many of whom we may never have learned of before. So at this point, you can stand up and stretch, get a second cup of coffee, some lunch, or tea, or whatever, and join us in just a few minutes again when we will recognize our 2023 group of Women of the World awardees. We'll give you a little bit of warning to rejoin the group, so don't go away, don't click off. Come back, and this is what we're all waiting for, and that is to meet and celebrate our group of 11 outstanding Calvert County women this morning. Thank you for taking a break right now, and again, we'll welcome you back in a few minutes.
a 1-minute warning. We will begin again in 1 minute.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a chance to stand up and stretch. And now we will turn to the second part of the program. This is where we will honor 2 groups of awardees. And if you will look at your program, you will see that the top part, there are 5 groups that are given, awards that are given by the Commission for Women. Nominations for these awards are sought community-wide in 4 specific areas: advocacy, business, service, and for a woman of tomorrow. This year, we're also presenting a special 5th award in leadership and service. And I do want to encourage you to be aware that each fall we call for nominations across the media for the county so that people may nominate some woman and girl that they think deserves recognition for the many contributions that they make to our community. And so be aware of that. This is where these 4 honorees came, and then again, a very special one this year. If you note in your program, again, the 2 different groups, and then also each one, there is a full-page bio and photo that explains their background and why they are getting the particular award that they are receiving today. The second group of awardees are chosen by each of the WOW community partners. They have picked someone from their organization who has made significant contributions to their work, their mission, as well as usually much beyond their own organization. So join me now as we celebrate the individual presentations of the 2023 WOW awardees.
It is my honor to present Mary Hollinger with the 2023 Outstanding Achievement Award for Advocacy. She's been a tireless advocate for animal conservation and for maintaining species diversity in Calvert County. She has devoted hundreds of volunteer hours and traveled more than 17,000 miles getting injured animals to rehabilitation centers, monitoring bluebird trails, and painstakingly organizing data for nesting season. As development in the county disrupted nesting sites, the bluebird population severely declined. But the work that Mary and other volunteers performed has reversed that trend and led to a steady increase. Her colleagues say that her passion is infectious and she can be depended on no matter the circumstances. Committed to education and stewardship, she has consistently shared her knowledge as a master naturalist with other women in the community, ensuring the impact of her work will endure. For these reasons and many others, the Calvert County Women's Commission has chosen to honor her. Congratulations, Mary. Thank you for making a difference.
Calvert County Commission for Women presents the Outstanding Achievement Award for Business to Sandy Vasquez. Sandy Vasquez, a former Marine and a retired police officer, has dedicated her entire life serving the country and the community. Sandy's leadership has led her to create a safe and positive environment for women to consider their wellness and health for a better, healthier lifestyle. She launched her new business venture, Sister Work Together, SWT Fitness, in October of 2020. Accredited to Sandy's leadership and community commitments has led her to serve the community in numerous endeavors. She has raised $19,000 for the Breast Cancer Foundation. She has also raised thousands of dollars to support the Ukrainian refugees to pay for the Airbnb cost. But her dedication of community service did not stop there. She also raised funds for the nonprofit organization In Hunger of Calvert County that served 28 families with Thanksgiving baskets. Sandy's commitment to community service should inspire others to commit their time and effort to community service. Calvert County Commission for Women would like to thank Sandy for her dedicated service as a leader of change in the community.
On behalf of the Calvert County Commission for Women, I am pleased to present the 2023 Outstanding Achievement Award for Service to Ms. Pamela L. Cousins. Tim Fargo said, "Leadership is service, not position." And Pam is truly a leader of our community. She has served her country as a United States Air Force veteran and as a civil servant in cybersecurity. Pam has also personally served our community for decades. Her service includes 2 terms on the Calvert County Board of Education, to include serving as the board president and on the board of directors for the Maryland Association of Boards of Education. Pamela also performs countless hours of community service through her work with the Southern Maryland Chain Chapter of Link Incorporated, improving the lives of children in our community and around the world. Ms. Cousins' service doesn't end there. She's a life member of the NAACP, and she has served as the president of the Concerned Black Women of Calvert County and dedicated time mentoring youth through youth internet safety programs. You'd be hard-pressed to go to any community or service event in the county and not come across Pam volunteering and inspiring others to volunteer. When you give her the microphone, her first words will be to encourage others to get out and serve. Pamela Cousin exemplifies leadership through service, and it's my true honor to know her and to present her this award.
This year's Woman of Tomorrow Outstanding Achievement Award goes to Sydney Weller. At 14, she is one of the youngest recipients of this award to date. The Northern Middle School 8th grader is already making a positive impact on the community. A student, Girl Scout, and volunteer, Sydney is building a firm foundation for future leadership roles. While juggling schoolwork and extracurricular activities, she has been disciplined enough to regularly donate her time to the Calvert Stewards, putting in many hours of volunteer work. She helps to take care of the organization's ambassador animals, including diamondback terrapins and several different snakes. Reliable, enthusiastic, and curious, Sydney is consistently seeking out opportunities to learn more about the animals she cares for and the environment she lives in. This curiosity will serve her well in the future. She is outgoing and friendly, happily greeting community members and educating them about the organization's programs. She volunteered for Lower Marlboro Freedom Day, spending many hours on the Patuxent River to help catch animals for day-long exhibits. She has worked long beyond her designated shifts, displaying a work ethic well beyond her years. Sydney sets a great example for other young women, showing them that volunteering can be both rewarding and enjoyable. Visitors have commented on Sydney's bright spirit and her enthusiasm for the work she is doing. Sydney is certainly off to a great start. We look forward to hearing about the contributions she's sure to make in the future to the county, the state, and our nation. We hope this award serves as a constant reminder that those who do good in this world deserve to be celebrated.
You know, some people wake up every day and think about what to have for breakfast. My friend and colleague, Ariane Swan Odom, wakes up every day and thinks, how can I make the world a better place? That is why the Calvert County Commission for Women is today awarding Ariane its Special Recognition Award for Outstanding Achievement for Community Service. Her accomplishments in leadership are legion in her volunteer activities, her personal life, and the workplace. A few examples. As a volunteer member of the Calvert County Commission for Women, she revitalized the women's clothes closet, providing scores of women and girls with free work-appropriate clothing to help them get and keep good jobs. She's worked tirelessly to combat domestic violence and sexual abuse in Calvert County. She's organized dozens of commission events, supported survivors, developed materials, engaged partners, strengthened programs, and educated the public and policymakers alike. An enrolled and outspoken member of the Piscataway Conoy tribe, she volunteers her time to make this little-known piece of Calvert County history valued and real for Calvert County citizens. As an individual, she's active in her church, and with her husband, she sponsors scholarships for county high school seniors to attend college while avoiding student debt. Her work reflects her values. She now serves in our Department of Community Resources. As local care team coordinator, she connects children and families to the resources they need to thrive. And she does all of this with creativity, a twinkle, and an infectious, motivating spirit. I hope you now know, as I know in my heart and my head, that Ariane is a strong and talented leader who does Calvert County and its citizens right and proud every day. Thank you, Ariane, for inspiring us all, and congratulations on this well-earned award.
The Women of the World Award recognizes one's outstanding commitment and/or achievement within the community. Every year, the Calvert County Historical Society honors a woman within the organization that has not only embodied these principles, but has exemplified our mission and values while doing so. It is with great pleasure that the Calvert County Historical Society presents Carolyn Moeller as the 2023 Women of the World honoree. Carolyn joined the Historical Society in 2008 and became a board member in 2013, serving as secretary for 8 years. During the pandemic, she agreed to take on the leadership role as president of the Historical Society. Carolyn's initiative, dependability, and decisiveness were vital in the success of this organization during a time of uncertainty. During the pandemic, she remained enthused with our mission by compiling and cataloging the 27,000 plus research file cards of her mother-in-law, Eileen Williams Moeller Hutchins, noted Calvert County historian and genealogist. These cards, covering almost 3,700 families, places, or topics, were then donated to the Historical Society for the benefit of the public. Her love of Calvert County history came from her father, Arthur W. Dial Jr. She encouraged publication of his book, Growing Up in Prince Frederick in the 1920s and 30s, and served as the editor. Retired from the Calvert County Office on Aging, Carolyn currently volunteers to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in our community through the work and time she has rendered to Christmas in April as a board member and chair of the House Selection Committee. This volunteer organization improves and repairs houses for approximately 40 low-income homeowners a year. She also delivers Meals on Wheels and is secretary of the Prince Frederick Methodist Cemetery Corporation. Congratulations, Carolyn, on your nomination.
Greetings. I'm Rosanna Vogt, Vice President of the Calvert County Minority Business Alliance, CCMBA. We're proud to recognize Reverend Barbara Perrin Buchanan at WOW 2023. We're recognizing her for her entrepreneurial work as well as the difference she has made in the world. Reverend Barbara is a native of Calvert and a graduate of the Calvert County Public School System. In college, she first majored in journalism, then in business administration with a minor in accounting and French. She is a certified victim court advocate and holds 2 master's degrees, one in psychology and one in theology. In 2011, she became a licensed ordained Christian minister. She is a Bible teacher and preacher, and she is sought after to narrate videos because she has a beautiful, rich, melodious voice. She began writing poetry, essays, and short stories at the early age of 11. Her favorite are stories for children that end with a question or situation which children finish in their own words. She advanced in her work career, became a supervisor handling day-to-day operations for DC, ARC, Maryland Transitional Homes, in charge of staff, including 21 counselors. Later, as a behavioral therapist, she worked with marginalized people, especially traumatized women and children diagnosed with attachment disorder. This work inspired her to create the Heart Project, an organization that serves the entire DMV. HEART stands for Healing and Eradicating Abuse-Related Trauma. It's a 501c3 faith-based nonprofit striving to bring awareness and healing to the trauma of domestic and sexual violence, rape, and incest. CCMBA wants to especially highlight her computer repair company, Innovative Technologies, which she opened in Calvert County in 2002. Her IT company was the first company in the incubator program in Calvert, and she served many small businesses and professional offices for over 10 years, even opening a second location in Charles County. Reverend Barbara loves to study the Bible and biblical history. She lives with her husband in Virginia and finds time for herself, gardening and enjoying water fitness, home decor, antiquing, and watching old movies. She lost her son in 2010. Her daughter is a doctor, and the niece she raised is serving our country as a staff sergeant. CCMBA is proud to recognize Reverend Barbara Buchanan's contributions to our community.
Calvert Library is delighted to present Martha Graham with this Woman of the World Award. Martha has served as a steward for the library community for more than 30 years. Her support has not only spanned almost 4 decades, but has also touched every aspect of our community. No task is too small or too daunting for Martha to tackle. Her focus is and has always been what she can do to support the organizations that she cares about, and Calvert Library has been blessed to have Martha as one of its biggest supporters. She has given her time, her energy, and has been an amazing advocate both locally and at the state level, as well as being a generous donor. I am so grateful personally to have been able to learn from her on her trips to Annapolis, to advocate for legislation that funds and supports public libraries. Her years working for elected officials in Annapolis and on Capitol Hill gave her insight and acumen that have been invaluable to me. Malcolm Gladwell wrote about people that spend time becoming experts. And the theory is that if people spend 10,000 hours doing something, they will be experts in that activity. Although my job does require me to be data-driven at times, I've never calculated the number of hours that Martha has unselfishly given to the library in many different capacities. I can assure you, though, that Martha has exceeded that threshold and has exponentially contributed to the library community by encouraging others to follow in her incredible example of service. Martha has shared the gift of Calvert Library with her family, bringing her grandchildren and great-grandchildren to storytime classes, library concerts, and special events. She spent so much time at the library and takes so much pride in the success of the organization that one set of great-grandchildren thought that Martha literally owned the library building when they were little. She's also pulled her family in to volunteer at the library. Martha's daughter, Martha, who I fondly call Martha Jr., was our Art in the Stacks coordinator for Calvert Library Prince Frederick for many years before the pandemic. And Martha Jr.'s daughters, Emily and Allison, are treasurer and secretary, respectively, of the Library Foundation. Her daughter-in-law, Kathy, gets encouraged into Friends activities, and Kathy's sons move countless boxes of books for Friends book sales over the years. Martha never hesitates to step up herself or call in the cavalry when they're needed. Everywhere Martha goes, she sells the library and creates a narrative about why others should care as much as she does. She's brought in people to learn bridge at library classes, and more than 3 bridge partners now have the Libby app downloaded to a device in order to read, listen, or view our digital library offerings. Whenever anyone questions the tech ability of older folks, I tell them about Martha, who is my model for lifelong learning and community engagement. This few minutes is not enough time to share all of the work Martha has done for the library. Calvert Library is so pleased to be able to recognize Martha Graham's considerable contributions to our organization and in turn our community. Her heart, her smarts, her investment of time have benefited generations of Calvert Countyans, and we are so glad that she's receiving this award.
On behalf of the Community Mediation Center of Calvert, I'm pleased to present our Volunteer of the Year Award to Laverne Day. Laverne volunteers as a transformative mediator for the community mediation centers in both Calvert and St. Mary's counties. She mediates in many areas, including family, divorce, child custody, and property financial mediation. She also facilitates community groups, including the Big Conversation of Southern Maryland, Conflict Resolution for Recovery, and Positive Parenting. Laverne provides services to families and schools as a restorative justice practitioner for youth in Calvert County and Prince George's County Public Schools. And she is an independent IEP facilitator for special education meetings. She works in the district court as a mediator and in the Calvert County Circuit Court Adult Treatment Program. She also supports the community as a conflict coach, where she helps others make changes to live their best possible lives. Laverne is Board Programs Chair for the Maryland Council for Dispute Resolution. She has an educational background in positive psychology and a fascination with people and how they manage conflict. Laverne's favorite pastime is connecting with her white German Shepherd and with her horses while trail and Western pleasure riding. She has had the opportunity to use her horses therapeutically for individuals with special needs. Laverne is the first person to receive the Volunteer of the Year award twice, and she truly deserves it. As director, I rely on Laverne for so many of our services and programs. Her inquisitiveness, dedication, and professionalism make her a trusted and valued volunteer for the Community Mediation Center of Calvert. Congratulations, Laverne.
The Concerned Black Women of Calvert County is pleased to recognize Shantae Buck as their 2023 Woman of the World awardee. She has been a dedicated member of CBW since 2017. She currently serves as the corresponding secretary and helps support the organization's communications efforts. She has also served on the organization's Salute to Excellence Committee and the Education, Scholarship, and Youth Committees. Shantae Buck was born and raised in Calvert County. She graduated from Patuxent High School and was an active member of Future Business Leaders of America, president of the Academy of Finance, and a member of Best Buddies International. She also ran varsity track. As a dedicated member of her church, Healing and Deliverance Community Experience of the Holy Spirit, she sang on the choir, taught youth Sunday school, and helped lead their marketing and communications ministries. Shante went on to attend Philadelphia University, now Thomas Jefferson University, where she worked in the Office of Residence Life, was a freshman orientation leader, START, a university ambassador, president of the Black Student Union, and a member of the International Leadership Academy, which gave her the opportunity to travel to Beijing, China. She studied international marketing while completing a semester at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia, and graduated from Philadelphia University with a BS in marketing and a minor in international business. She began her marketing career with Pacer Financial as a marketing associate, and then spent 4 years as a marketing coordinator at Hilton Worldwide, where she worked on the Hilton brand marketing team. A passion for the spa industry led her to become spa operations manager at the 5-star Salamander Resort and Spa in Middleburg, Virginia. Currently, she works for CX Strategy Manager for CXE Incorporated in Annapolis, Maryland. Shante continues to enjoy traveling, as well as dining out with her husband, Brandon, and spending time with their beloved daughter, Michaela. Congratulations, Shante, and thank you for your dedication and commitment to CBW and the community.
Greetings. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Calvert County, I present Trish Powell for the WOW's 20th Annual Celebration and Award Ceremony. Some of the contributions to our community that Trish has done is that she is co-founder and vice president of the health service organization that subsidize prescriptions drugs for the working poor. She's also been a volunteer for the court-appointed Special Advocacy Program. She has been a certified mediator in district court for families with troubled teens, and she's been a member of the League of Women Voters and also our treasurer. Trish is an advocate in working for the community for causes to improve our community. She's a writer, an artist, and a knitter. Trish, thank you for your contributions to the League of Women Voters and to our community.
If we were all together, I would have us stand up and applause. What a wonderful, amazing group of 11 women from Calvert County that we have heard about this morning. I should let everyone know, in addition to the recognition that you have just heard and the award given to them by their respective organizations, we want to acknowledge that each of the 11 also receives lovely formal citations from U.S. Senator Cardin, Congressman Steny Hoyer, State Senator Michael Jackson, whom I noticed was here this morning, State Senator Jack Bailey, our state delegate, Mark Fisher, and one from all 5 of the Calvert County Board of County Commissioners. These are special documents that they can keep and that they also recognize well beyond just the group of us here today, that they have made so many different contributions in so many different areas. They receive gifts from the WOW committee and also from their organization. We've heard they cover the gamut, and this is what I think keep in mind as we think about WOW and potential recognition in the future. We saw that we acknowledge people's contributions in the areas of environment and in history and in education, in business, in all forms of contributions in so many different ways. And these women, and even our youngest, are doing this not just in one place, not just in one area, but in so many different fields and areas of their lives. So we acknowledge their contributions. We are pleased that we could do this in recognition for these women today, for those who support them at home, for the groups that have participated, and for all of you who have come today. I want to thank each and every one of you on behalf of the Commission for Women and the organizations. Thank you each for joining us this morning. You have to admit that Calvert County has a wealth of talented and committed women. And for many of you who have been participating by watching, we've had the honor and privilege to honor you over the last 20 years and the last 20 celebrations of WOW. So again, we congratulate this particular group. The commission and our partners also invite each of you to join us for other programs that we have throughout the year. We encourage you to let us hear from you about issues and concerns that you might, particularly on our behalf, the commission, what you would like us to address. After this, you will see receive 2 links to 2 different surveys. And we hope that you will take just the few minutes that each take, whether today or sometime in the near future, to fill them out and send them back to us. One is an evaluation of the event, and the other is a survey that you will be seeing not just today, but in the future coming weeks, a survey that the commission is doing with the county to identify wider issues and concerns of women in Calvert County more generally. So please do take time. Again, Robin Truslow from the library has put them up on the screen, and they are there, but please do take the time. We want to hear from you and we want to respond. We are your representatives. For what has proved to be a highlight of our time together the last couple of years, since we are not in person, we invite you to join live our honorees and the various WOW partner organizations in breakout rooms in order to greet them, to celebrate their achievements, and to be with them just informally for the next little bit. Robin will explain how we do that and how we can share. You don't have to just go to one, and she'll explain that, because I know, and just from the chat responses going on, many of you know each and every one of these, or at least some of the different women who we honor today. So planned, you may go to one room, wander to another, just as if you were at a dinner or a luncheon and you went from table to table. I hope you will enjoy that time together, and thank you all for being with us. Thank you to the honorees and all of you who are here to celebrate them today. We look forward to seeing more of you at future programs, and we hope that you are inspired by the words, the people, and the amazing group of women that we have celebrated. Thank you and goodbye.